I've been saying those very things. I mean, this is a big political issue if you just ignore them. The dichotomy here is that Scott Morrison has said that there is no mandate for vaccinations. It's not compulsory. And yet then says, but the states might make it compulsory. That's not me. Now, people are in an absolute dilemma. Why are they denied opportunities to go to a restaurant, a pub, to shop, to go into Bunnings and all the rest of it, when the rest of many countries in Europe have abandoned all of this stuff? I mean, many of the theories that applied to the coronavirus have been dismantled. The mask theory, the social distancing theory, the mandate theory, and we've got to get with it. I mean, we're out of step with the rest of the world, and we're treating some people as second-class citizens.
Absolutely, no two ways about that. And I think one of the things I learnt yesterday is that polling booth workers at the next federal election are going to be mandated to have...
Unbelievable.
It's a federal mandate, isn't it?
Unbelievable. I mean, you won't get polling booth workers, I'm telling you. They're not going to put up with that nonsense.
Yeah. Now, the other issue, by-elections in New South Wales, the ones that are relevant to us here are Monero and Bega. Bega has been lost, but I think the problem there's a couple of problems there. There were some real local issues, a relatively, and God knows why, popular local member retired. The Liberals ran a candidate who's lost twice before, and the Labor Party ran a good local candidate.
Yes, there are a couple of factors here, aren't there? You're right. I mean, we don't quite know what the personal following was for Barilaro, Berejiklian or Constance, but it would be quite significant. But that doesn't dilute the fact that there were massive swings. Look, in that Bega electorate down there, those people have been ignored. I broadcast from there. I've continued my association with these people. There are people down there still wearing other people's clothes. There are people down there whose houses are burnt down and nothing has happened. In other words, the big promise was, we'll look after you, we'll be there for you. But when days pass, weeks pass, months pass, they're completely forgotten. And they had the only sanction available to them was to vote, and they voted. And it's significant they voted for a doctor, because the doctor is centre of that whole health issue down there. And he's seen the trauma, the mental trauma and the anxiety that these people have faced, and they voted overwhelmingly for him. I mean, in Willoughby, it's a different kettle of fish. I mean, the Liberal Party endorsed Tim James, who's a very good candidate. He just happens to be not part of that mad left in the Liberal Party that Trent Zimmerman sponsors, and indeed that Gladys encouraged.
Yes.
And so obviously many people even in the Liberal Party weren't happy with Tim James, and now he's swinging by the seat of his pants. I mean, the margin is negligible. They're still counting postal votes, which is a big issue, isn't it, Steve? I mean, if you look at the legislation as to what your entitlement is to a postal vote, many of these people who are issuing postal votes or taking advantage of a postal vote have no entitlement to be able to vote in that way. And we've got to tighten all this up. I mean, election day is election day.
Yep.
And unless there are very significant exceptions, you should have to front to a booth on election day and vote.
Except that this time around, every single voter in those four electorates was sent a postal vote. Yeah.
Yeah, they got them. They got them. And I think, look, I think there are significant ramifications in all of this. I'm not sure that it's exactly as some say, but the Liberal Party, I said on last Friday that these by-elections were a referendum on the Liberal Party. Now, the brand is damaged. Someone's got to accept that. And quite frankly, I also volunteered the view that if there were to be a federal leadership change, that is, if they were to replace Scott Morrison as leader because he's very much on the nose and no one's listening, you would automatically dismantle the whole of the Labor Party's election campaign. Yeah. Because already that campaign is predicated on attacking Morrison, whether it's what Macron said or Berejiklian said or Barnaby Joyce said, and they've spent thousands mounting advertising and all the rest of it around Scott Morrison. You take him out of the equation, the ALP are naked. So the Liberal Party and the Coalition have got some significant questions to answer. Whether the electorate will respond, and there's going to be more handouts in the budget, there's no doubt about that, when we're heading towards $1 trillion of debt, and how they then sponsor the argument, we are the economic managers. I see the Treasury Secretary yesterday, Kennedy, saying, whoever wins this election, someone is going to have to embrace the notion of budget repair. We can't go on the way we are.